Hello students of class 5th B, welcome to your new online classes. This is your science class. In the previous lectures, we have learned about the circulatory systems, blood vessels, heart, the structure of heart, and today we will learn how heart works. Working of the heart. Let us look at the video first.
The deoxygenated blood comes to the heart through the veins. It reaches the right auricle. From here, the blood is pumped into right ventricle. It is the pulmonary artery which carries the blood to the lungs for getting oxygenated. The process of outdiffusion of carbon dioxide and indiffusion of oxygen takes place in the lungs. Now, the oxygen-rich blood reaches the heart through the pulmonary vein. Oxygenated blood enters the left auricle. It is then pumped into left ventricle. The left ventricle which pumps the oxygenated blood to all parts of the body.
After watching the video, hope you have learned about how the heart works, working of the heart. Let me explain this now. When both the auricles and ventricles are relaxed, when both the chambers of the heart are relaxed, the auricles get filled with blood. So the first chamber which gets the blood is auricle. The right auricle receives deoxygenated blood from all the parts of the body. The right auricle receives the impure blood from all the parts of the body, and the left auricle receives oxygenated blood from the lungs, and the left auricle receives the blood which is pure and contains oxygen from the lungs by through the help of pulmonary veins. Next, both the auricles contract together and their valves open. Both the auricles contract together and their openings open. Blood from the left auricle comes into the left ventricle. First the blood comes into left auricle, and then the blood goes to left ventricle, and from the right auricle into the right ventricle. So it is very simple. For blood comes from left auricle to left ventricle, and from right auricle to right ventricle. Next, both the auricles and ventricles contract. Both the auricles and ventricles contract together. The oxygenated blood from left ventricle is pumped into the aorta. Now the blood which contains oxygen from left ventricle is pumped into the aorta, and aorta is responsible for distributing the blood to all the parts of the body with the help of arteries. Now the next point, the deoxygenated blood from the right ventricle, the oxygen which is impure from the right ventricle is pumped into pulmonary aorta and is transported to the lungs for oxygenation, means to mix with oxygen through the help of pulmonary arteries. Now here is a diagram given which represents the circulation of blood in humans and also represents the working of heart. Now let me explain the working of heart first. First the blood comes into right atrium and then it goes to right ventricle. From right ventricle the blood goes through pulmonary vein towards the lungs. The lungs mix the oxygen with the blood and the blood becomes pure here. From there, it goes to right atrium with the help of pulmonary veins. From right atrium, it goes to left ventricle, and from left ventricle, the pure blood goes to aorta. Aorta distributes the blood to all the parts of the body. In this way, the oxygenated blood is distributed to all the parts of the body, and then again the deoxygenated blood come towards the right atrium and the cycle continues. You have to draw this diagram in your science copy to understand the process of working of heart and circulation of blood in humans. Now let us move towards our next topic. The rhythmic contraction and relaxation of the auricles and ventricles is known as heartbeat. The continuous contraction and relaxation of the auricles and ventricles together is known as heartbeat. The human heart beats about 72 times per minute. It means in 1 minute it beats about 72 times. Doctors hear heartbeat using a stethoscope. It means they use an instrument which is known as stethoscope. Here is the diagram given of a stethoscope. Our next topic is keeping the heart healthy. How we can keep our heart healthy? First point, cutting down the amount of fat in the diet will keep the heart healthy. It means we have to eat the least amount of fat in our diet Extra fat in the body puts extra pressure on the heart. If we eat extra fat, it puts extra pressure on the heart as it has to push the blood to greatly enlarged body. Second point, regular exercise and deep breathing also keep the heart healthy. It means we have to exercise regularly and we have to take deep breaths. Okay, quickly read some points here which we have studied before. First, circulatory system in humans consists of heart, blood vessels and blood. Second point, blood vessels consist of arteries, veins and capillaries. Third, heart is an organ which pumps blood to all the parts of the body. We have studied this. Fourth point, the blood consists of plasma, blood cells. Blood cells contains WBCs, white blood cells, RBCs, red blood cells and platelets. Fifth point, heart is four chambered auricles and ventricles. Auricles are receiving chambers which receives the blood and ventricles are distributing chambers which distributes the blood. Now the next point, right auricle receives deoxygenated blood from the body, it means impure blood, and left auricle receives oxygenated blood from the lungs, it means pure blood which contains oxygen. Next point, left ventricle supplies pure blood to all the parts of the body and right ventricle transports deoxygenated blood to the lungs for oxygenation. It means left ventricle supplies pure blood to all the parts of the body and right ventricle transports deoxygenated blood which does not contain oxygen to the lungs for oxygenation to get mixed with oxygen.